Fears that Cody Rhodes is injured, The Rock's mega heat in Hollywood, WWE are about to let a contract expire, and more. I'm Luke Owen, it's gotta be May, and welcome to the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
2024 has seen a lot of amazing things in the world of wrestling already, from several 5-star matches in AEW, the return of TNA to TNA, and New Japan feeling like 2008 TNA by bringing in released WWE stars and immediately putting belts on them. But none have reached the feel-good moments of the final night of WrestleMania 40, where Cody Rhodes finally finished his story and won the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns. I saw this moment live at a Hooked on Wrestling event where we streamed our live reactions to the show. And afterwards, a very drunk man came up to me and said, "Well, the problem now is, what next?" I replied, "That's not a problem. That's the exciting part. What's next for Cody Rhodes? Let's start the next chapter of this story." So it's rather concerning that there were fears that Cody got himself injured on last Friday's SmackDown. Cody took on the recently called up Carmelo Hayes in the main event of the show in a fun showcase match for the draftee, but during the match landed awkwardly on his shoulder when both of them attempted springboards. Rhodes favored his shoulder as they went to the finish and looked to be in a lot of pain. Following SmackDown, Fightful Select reached out to Cody directly to ask if he was okay, and he simply replied, "Always." Sean Ross Sapp notes, that isn't exactly a definitive update. It would be a huge blow to Rhodes in his run as the top guy of the company, but fear not, as Dave Meltzer has now added on Wrestling Observer Radio, that Rhodes is not listed on the injured lists. He also notes that it wasn't mentioned on TV, so it's not a storyline injury, so the hope is that it's nothing major. He said, "I was told it's not listed as an injury, a real injury, so whatever it was, it might just be something minor. It might be nothing at all. It's probably nothing at all significant." So while that is great news for Cody, it wasn't great news yesterday for one of his WrestleMania foes. Before he returned to the world of wrestling earlier this year to join the TKO board of directors, derail a 2-year story for a different story, realize the error of his ways, turn heel and create a magical WrestleMania season with some of the best WWE TV in years, The Rock was pissing people off in Hollywood. At least, that's according to The Wrap, who have written a huge article detailing all of the heat The Rock currently has in the film world, from on-set fights with Ryan Reynolds on Red Notice to stories of him pissing into water bottles to save on time and asking his PAs to dispose of them. And the reason he needs to save so much time, allegedly, is because he's always late to set, with one source claiming that Rocky was up to 8 hours late for set on his Amazon project Red One, which also stars Captain America Chris Evans. And it even ties into his return to WWE. And if you want to learn more about The Rock's time in WWE and how it ties into his run in Hollywood, we did a deep dive WrestleTalk original hosted by Ollie Davis on this very subject. Click the link in the video description to check that out and watch this clip about his time working on Black Adam.
He arguably needed The Rock more than The Rock needed DC, and he used that leverage to attempt to control the entire franchise's creative direction, a creative direction that he envisioned being built around him. Yes, that does sound like every wrestling promoter you've ever heard of. Using his pro wrestling smarts, The Rock's long-term vision for DC was to build to a WrestleMania-level main event. Gone was the original plan of Shazam and Black Adam having their own solo movies to build to a versus one. Shazam was just a mid-carder. As a pro wrestler, The Rock wanted the biggest match possible. He wanted Black Adam versus Superman.
The Wrap write that The Rock was 2 hours late for his appearance at WWE World ahead of WrestleMania and was then 3 hours late for his WrestleMania main event on night 1. However, one other source told them that Rocky was late due to other WWE commitments, as well as traffic in Philadelphia, and a WWE official told The Wrap Dwayne was not only on time for WrestleMania, he was hours early to help with rehearsal and a pleasure to work with throughout the entire run. But his tardiness appears to be a running theme of the article, which details that his lateness on set on Red One forced the production to balloon to over $250 million, with one crew member describing the movie as an effing disaster and another saying, "Dwayne truly doesn't give an F." The article goes on to say he was up to 4 to 5 hours late on the sets of Rampage and Red Notice, and it was his lateness during his time on Fast and Furious that caused his falling out with Vin Diesel that got him kicked off the franchise for a period of time. In one hilarious anecdote, a crew member on Ballers said The Rock was so late during production that it became a 14-hour working day and it qualified them for health insurance. There's even claims that Rock broke COVID protocols while filming Netflix's Red Notice. However, it should be noted that every single story written about The Rock in this article from The Wrap is followed up by other sources or studio executives saying that Rock was a pleasure to work with and averaged no more than 1 hour late on the set of Red 1. There's also denials that his PAs had to get rid of his pee-filled bottles while making the Amazon movie. Now I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with wrestling here on the WrestleTalk News? Well, the reason this article has come out now is because Rocky is about to start filming on A24's The Smashing Machine, which is reportedly what is keeping him away from WWE for the time being, and that he could be back once that movie is wrapped in August. But one insider expressed skepticism that the production will proceed smoothly or stick to that schedule, which in theory would delay The Rock's return to WWE. Back to the business world of WWE now, and it's a big time for them and their contracts. As we've talked about a lot over the last few months, WWE are set for a busy and expensive time, with several top stars having their contracts expiring soon. Natalya, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch all have contracts expiring within the next 2 months. But given how Drew McIntyre penned a new deal with WWE over the weekend, it would now appear that the company is in overdrive to get new deals done. But one person not in that boat is Reggie/Screebs. Fightful Select report that Reggie's contract expires at the start of June, and has been informed that WWE will not be renewing it. This will make him a free agent and can start working with any promotions as of next month. Fightful have been told that he will go by the name of Sidney Akeem and plans to continue wrestling and expected his deal to not be renewed. Another name whose contract is set to expire is Dijak, who was drafted to Raw as one of the final picks of the 2024 draft. It had been reported that Dijak's deal was up soon and that if he re-signed, he would likely stay in NXT, which made his call-up make fans wonder if he's actually already signed a new deal. As it turns out, according to Corey Brennan of Fightful Select, not only has Dijak not signed a new deal, he's not even been approached about a new deal by WWE. However, they add both sides are confident that a deal will be reached, with Shawn Michaels and Triple H both being vocal supporters of his. They add that his social media antics have received a lot of praise from those in NXT. In a hilarious bit of only in WWE, Brennan reports that main roster creative have been pushing for a Dijak call-up, but at this point, there are yet to be creative plans put into place for Dijak on Raw. You know, WWE creative with a Dijak is a lot like the mule with a spinning wheel. No one knows how he got it, and danged if he knows how to use it. Much like Lynch and Rollins, Fightful add that WWE would have interest in bringing Dijak into their ranks should his contract expire, but sources within All Elite Wrestling have told Corey Brennan that they do expect him to re-sign with WWE. Speaking of Raw, well, that was a very good review by me yesterday, wasn't it, if I do say so myself, even if I even did a little funny rendition of the APA theme. Let's check the comments and see how much people enjoyed me. Good job spotting local sports hero. Guess he'll be known as LSH now. 3-time Super Bowl winning quarterback Patrick Mahomes, Luke. FFS, know the person's name. Put some respect on Patrick Mahomes' name. Local town sports hero. What a wild way to describe Patrick Mahomes. The British mind cannot comprehend the beauty of real football. Calling Patrick Mahomes a hometown sports player is like calling Ronaldo a passionate fan. LOL, at local sports hero, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL and might be the second greatest NFL player after Tom Brady. If Americans called Erling Haaland just some local British football guy, you would be outraged. Who the is Erling Haaland? Alright, fine, so I don't know who the guy is, but in my defense, he is a sports hero to that local crowd. So local sports hero is a very accurate description. So what I said was true, from a certain point of view. So it turns out this football bloke is a bit of a big deal, but that does not take away from the fact it was a wacky segment on Raw, where Uber heel Logan Paul teamed with Uber babyface Patrick Mahomes to beat up other Uber babyface Jey Uso to massive cheers from the Kansas City crowd. It prompted several people, myself included, to ask why would WWE book this segment, as surely they would know full well that the crowd would cheer anything Mahomes did, including helping the beatdown of the top babyface on the brand and the #1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship. And as it turns out, WWE did know that because they did not book this segment. Dave Meltzer revealed on Wrestling Observer Radio it was a sponsored segment. That's why Patrick Mahomes was there, because Patrick Mahomes is part of the Prime energy drink that Logan Paul is a part of. So they basically sponsored the segment and they wanted Logan Paul and Patrick Mahomes to work an angle together. So it turns out WWE aren't stupid, Logan Paul is. Click the video on screen right now to watch that Rock video in full as Ollie Davis charts Rocky's rise through WWE and Hollywood and his return to wrestling.